Hello everyone, so today we're going to learn how to make this beautifully tiled coffee table. Here's a list of what you'll need. A table with a flat top, some tiles of your choice, grout and grout float, small spatula, sandpaper, and a cloth or a rag just to wipe stuff down. So the first step here, as you can see, is I'm sanding down the tabletop just to give it some texture, and then we're going to just wipe it down so that it's nice and clean. Here I'm opening up a brand new box of white grout and applying it graciously on top of the table and just spreading it out into a nice thin layer. You want to make it as thin as possible just so that when you do put your tiles on it, it will automatically spread out and get into the cracks. So if you make it too bulky, it will start to ooze out from the sides, which you will then have to clean. Here I'm now starting to place the tiles. The beautiful thing about the size of this table and the size of the tiles is that the tiles, as you can see here, lays perfectly on the table with one extra row hanging around the sides. And here what I'm doing is I'm alternating the sides that hang out just so that we don't have a straight line going down the middle. Look at that. So one thing I will recommend here is to just put some weights on it. Here I've just put whatever I found around the house and let it dry overnight. You don't want to work on this anymore while it's still wet just because it can start to move around, so it's best to leave it and not fuss with it. So the next morning you want to flip the table, and so I'm putting one tiled layer beneath and then resting the layer that's going to stick to the table right above it. So this way all of my tiles are level and I don't have one tile that's below a little bit or higher than the other one. They're all perfectly leveled up together. They're matched up together. And then I've taken the table legs to just hold up the side tiles together, just again giving it time. I've given it about 7 to 8 hours to dry. Here I'm taking a very generous amount of grout and really pushing it in to the cracks. So you can see I'm pushing it and then swiping it away. You want to make sure you push just so that it gets into the cracks. If you don't push, it really will kind of just sit on the top and there'll be holes in between. Then take your cloth, wet it a little bit, and start to wipe down the dried grout. This is very important for you to do while the grout is still in the drying process and not when it's fully dried, because once it's fully dried, it's extremely hard to take out and you're going to have to scrape it or just really scrub hard, and trust me when I say it's going to take a long time. Same process goes for the sides. Here I'm taking a smaller spatula to do the same thing where I press the grout into the cracks and then wipe away. This is honestly my favorite part, where you have the part where the side joins to the top. You have quite a big crack here, so really you want to take a generous amount of grout, as much as you can, to push it into the crack so that you fill out all the holes and then just scrape it off. Here what I'm doing is I'm adding some more grout to really push all of the grout that's underneath deeper in. I take a small square of tile and then run it in one swift motion along. Oh, it's so satisfying to look at. That gives me a perfect line, and then I take it on the top and do the same thing of running it down the top of the table, which then gives me a crisp line at the top, and then doing the same thing on the side, which then leaves another crisp line on the side. And now go ahead and put on the legs. This is a regular IKEA table. As you guys can see, it's very simple to assemble. For the flipping, honestly, I'm going to recommend finding a friend and doing it with them, because as you can see now, it is extremely difficult and heavy to flip. On the sides, you want to do the same thing here. I'm taking a paintbrush because I found that this was the easiest way to do it. You take a lot of grout on your paintbrush and really just put as much, more than enough, onto the side, and then do the same technique I showed you on the sides, where you take a flat tile and then run it down, which just makes it so smooth. And oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it's almost there. Okay, oh, we got it. And so that, again, I'm just showing you on the other side how I started, taking more than enough grout and really just squeezing it in to make sure that there are no holes on the inside. Perfection. This is a last step. It's honestly not mandatory, but it's a nice to do. If you see that your tiles have any sort of minor scratches on the top, you want to take some baking soda, mix it with a little bit of water, and really massage it with your fingers. It is a long process, but the finish, as you can see, is super shiny and clean and perfectly done tiled coffee table. Guys, if this is not something you want to do on your own, I'm selling these tables on my website, so have a look. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more DIY furniture art related content. I'll see you in the next video.